Welcome back, guys. If you've not already liked the video and subscribed to the channel, please do so. I appreciate you guys all being here. Today, we'll talk about something that I'm very passionate about, which is preparing average people for recreational sports. Now, especially now, pickleball is huge. Maybe the video title will even have pickleball in it. Lots of my 60 plus clients or even younger are loving getting into pickleball after having done nothing athletic for the last 30 years of their life. So as personal trainers, or maybe if you're watching this, as a consumer, somebody who's going to do their own training and you just want to know how can I prepare myself better for pickleball, rec basketball, whatever it is. I have not done sports in a while. I'm getting back into sports. What can I do? I'm going to give 3 kind of easy things that we can get into or focus areas that we can focus on for us to get prepared for sport. Very common. We'll hear people just getting like catastrophic injuries during like rec league soccer or rec league basketball, or even, I don't know, I've not heard anything terrible from pickleball yet, but I have had people in my circle who've gotten hurt playing pickleball. So what can we do to kind of mitigate some of these injuries? Because very often, again, it is very predictable. People are just not generally prepared. They haven't trained for a long time. Or even if they have trained, they've done more meathead style training, bodybuilding training. They haven't done anything with any sort of velocity. So we go from just doing a lot of strength training without any sort of jumping or running, and then we go do a bunch of jumping and running without any preparation for it. We're lining ourselves up for a bad time. So I think first and foremost, especially if we're looking at sports that are very demanding on the lower body, which is a lot of sports, but basketball, soccer, even like pickleball has a lot of rotation. What can we do? And this is like really from a general sports standpoint to help prepare for that. Well, let's just get better lower body movement qualities. How do I move through my hips, right? When I have a limited base of support, can I actually get into some ipsilateral hip shift, get hip internal rotation, right? So think like split stance, my hips are gonna be pushing outside of my base of support. That's kind of a position that we're going to see a lot if we are doing things like kicking a ball, swinging a racket, whatever it is. Also just acting on a limited base of support. That's something that we're going to see a lot in sport. So can we do that? Can we get hip extension? Can we get hip flexion? Can we move to the frontal plane? Those are the things that we're really going to be looking for from a movement quality standpoint. How do my knees look? How do my ankles look? Should we just start to do some basic isolation work there too? Hamstring curls, quad extensions, calf raises. The general strength work can really can go a long way, right? So first and foremost, just get into strength training. Look at some movement qualities. Can I lunge? Can I hinge? Do I have the components to make that up? Hip internal rotation. Can I get in hip extension, right? Now, once we covered the bases there, once we thought, okay, I need to make more resilient hips, knees, ankles, and I'm training, isolation and compound exercises that will train my hips, knees, ankles. What can I do past that? I think one of the first things we can do is look at, okay, what are we missing from our training typically? Or if we haven't trained at all, we're definitely missing everything. But jumping, right? Most people don't jump, don't do any sort of jump. Now, I don't mean that we need to, right out the gate, go do a drop jump off a 40-inch box or anything crazy, but just doing like low-level jumping, like extensive plyometrics, low-level plyos, whatever you want to call them, doing things like light pogo hops, doing things like skips, adding in some variability to those things, right? Going split stance, going lateral, going zigzag, going front to back. We can add in a lot of variety in terms of what we're getting exposed to with low-level jumping and start to build a capacity to manage ground contact forces and also just, manage some chaotic environments, right? Something that's not going to be, sitting on a bench press or in a squat rack where we're very static, right? So just get into some jumping. We can very easily scale the intensity of that. But again, first things first, if we're just trying to get people into being more resilient for recreational sports, basic strength training with basic movement qualities, right? Especially lower body stuff, and then start getting jumping a little bit, get better at managing ground contacts with a little bit of velocity, right? That's the component that we often miss, is the velocity component. So those are things that I would do. Again, if I were to kind of recap and start from the beginning, do a lunge, do a hinge, do some isolation work, and do some jumps, right? Probably front load the jumps. So good warm up, add in some pogo hops, some skips, add in some variety to that over time. That's gonna help us start getting prepared for whatever recreational sport that we're doing. And then one of the last elements that I would throw in, if I had to put like a third category in, obviously we could get much deeper in this, but just do direct core work. I can't tell you how many times like the average person that comes to train with me is like not done anything to move their spine in years. Or if we have, it's very typical, decline sit up, reverse crunches, or like, boss bitch ab workouts, whatever it is. Do some stuff where we're actually gonna load and move the spine and make sure we have some variability to move that, especially in terms of sports that have rotation, which is most sports. So even outside of just doing things like, decline sit-ups, let's do some side bends, right? Something that's gonna be in the frontal plane. Let's do some stuff that has like a tall reach to it. Let's do some things that are gonna actually have some direct rotation, even past like a Russian twist. Let's do some cable wood chops, right? Let's even do some ballistic stuff with the med ball. Try to just make sure we have the variability to express strength through movement of the spine, right? Most of us are gonna be pretty good at maintaining stability. Like we do a lot of static stuff in the weight room where we're bracing the core and we're not moving the spine, but let's do some stuff to actually move the spine as well. Those are the three categories I would look at. Get into some basic training, get some basic strength, some basic resiliency to some muscles, add some muscle if you don't have any. Make sure we're building those movement qualities. We have the ability to have variability in movement that we might see on the field or on the court or in the sport that we're playing. And then build that into also adding in some jumps. So add in some velocity to that, low level plyometrics, things like skips, pogo hops, etc. And then do some core work, like real core work, get the spine to bend, right? If we can do all of those things, very generally speaking, we're probably off to a very good start in terms of mitigating potential injuries that could be coming from doing recreational sports without any preparedness. So if you think I missed anything, or if you have another idea you'd like to add below, or if you have any ideas for future videos or future expansions on this topic, please put it below. Again, thank you for your support. Please like and subscribe if you're not done so, and I will see you guys soon.